the team set out to find and rescue more of these wardens, but first made a stop in the bustling city of Turles to meet a wizard of the natural order known as the Scholar. They found him in his office inside Nightstone Abbey, a university and library, which also happens to be the former home of James Quillis. The Scholar told them a moratorium on magic was in place in Turles, following thefts and a murder that all seemed to be tied to magic. To learn more about the team's experience with the wardens, the Scholar took them to a restricted room in Nightstone Library to consult one of the few books of history that remain from before Ain's cataclysmic War of Ideas hundreds of years ago. But as he removed the ancient tome from safekeeping, a coordinated team of thieves broke into the library, paralyzing the Scholar with blow darts, and stole it. Our team dispatched several of the thieves, but failed to stop them from escaping when Civ inexplicably dropped his rapier as they fled with the book. Admonished by one of Nightstone's administrators, Audric Lucerne, the team decided to leave the Abbey and find respite in the city proper. They ventured into Rosy Cheeks pub and tavern hall, where Lily managed to win a spirited drinking contest, and then decided to spend their winnings at Yarley Market, Turles' lively outdoor bazaar. While there, they picked up a couple of strange bits of information. An awkward exchange with a nervous leatherworker revealed that some goblins may have taken up residence in the southeastern part of the city and may be in possession of an item useful to the team. And a shifty blacksmith suggested that they may be able to acquire magical weapons in the shantytown outside the city gates to the north, beyond the reach of the moratorium on magic. But as they left Yarley Market, the team came face to face once again with Audric Lucerne, working in concert with the city guards, who threatened to confiscate Fahima's magical baby phoenix, Meep. In defiance, Fahima told Meep to fly away, angering Lucerne, who promised he would not forget the team's insolence. The following day, the team decided to make an agenda. They ate a hearty breakfast, defeated a group of goblins to loot a special new saddle, which allows Lily to ride on Ugo's back, and did some browsing in a specialty shop. But their agenda was interrupted when Civ spotted one of the thieves that had gotten away, and the chase was on. Through the city streets and along the rooftops, the team pursued the masked figure, eventually trapping it inside a building using their magic and their intuition. But when Civ made his way inside to confront the rogue, he was gravely injured, and once again, the thief slipped through their fingers. And our team decided to slip away out of Turles and into the lawless shantytown to the north. Encountering some of the odd characters that reside in the ramshackle abodes of Shantytown resulted in the discovery of a thieves' haven, tunneled under the ground, the entrance hidden beneath a nondescript tent. Investigating, they found it abandoned, an overgrown poison farm, the only danger that still remained inside. But what also remained inside was Hermel Fesch's stolen book. Well, what was left of it. For it appeared that the rogues had cut out the pages from its spine and put them into another binding, leaving behind only the ornately illustrated cover, its emblazoned title, The Heroes of the Ariat Age. Upon leaving the Thieves' Haven, Fahima was happy to see her baby phoenix flying back to her, only to have that joy dashed as the arcane energy of Magic Missile came out of nowhere and knocked little Meep out of the sky. It turned out the wielder of those arcane energies was a young magical apprentice named Grell, who apologized profusely even as Ugo tackled him to the ground. When the team forgave him and even healed his wounds, Grell agreed to lead them to the wisest person he knew in Shantytown. A visit to a strange mystic found Lily trapped, and spun the team off on a frantic adventure to free her. It also resulted in urgent, cryptic words for Fahima, as the mystic attempted to read her fortune, which seemed to indicate an ominous danger looming. Even more troubling, Audric Lucerne was found killed in the exact manner by which Uggo had threatened him, in the apparent framing of the team for murder. Wanted and watched, our team fled Turles through a portal linking them to the decks of the Tardy Plunder, a ship under the command of one Mervis Blowhard, a renowned, at least by his own account, pirate of the high seas. He and his crew are currently under the employ of Claudiette Mormthallow, a wizard of the natural order, referred to by the pirates as nauseous, because when stepping aboard the ship for the first time, she held her stomach and declared, "I'm nauseous." She believes the path to the next warden leads to the Deep Reef, a treacherous stretch of waters to the east that has claimed many ships and sailors to its murky depths. When the captain expressed his reluctance to take the Tardy Plunder into Deep Reef, Civ convinced him there was great treasure waiting at their destination, offered a 50-50 split of that treasure, and boasted about the incredible abilities of his companions. Tricked and confused, Mervis seemed to agree to the deal, believing the team would dutifully follow his command and pitch in while on board. Meanwhile, a discussion with the ship's bosun, an orc named Sharn, revealed a series of ongoing attacks on the island of Bingle. She told them that the ship's cook, Olo, had recently lost his hand during one of these attacks, visiting Bingle while planning a vacation for his bride. Rescuing Olo had cost the lives of 4 of the ship's crew, and none of the survivors were anxious to return. Hearing the news of her homeland under siege, Lily was distraught. And when the amulet itself empowered her with a force of good to instantly charm anyone she chose, she used it to compel the captain to turn the ship around and head back to Bingle. Unfortunately, that new course also led the ship directly into a storm. As wind and rain racked the Tardy Plunder and turbulent seas thrashed and battered its hull, the team was roused from sleep and rushed in to help the crew navigate the tempest. But when violent waves crashed over the side of the storm-tossed vessel, slamming into Uggo and a crewman known as Honker, and cast them overboard, the team leapt into action. In an incredible act of dexterity and resourcefulness, Civ managed to cast a flotation device down to Uggo as he muscled his way to the surface of the water. Stunningly, heroically, Uggo turned his own rescue into an even more courageous feat as he speared the drowning Honker with his grappling hook and held on for dear life. The amulet once again flashed, and a new force of good allowed the team to come together and levitate Uggo and Honker up and out of the angry waters, pulling them onto the deck just as the ship emerged into the eye of the storm. As the rain receded, a group of harpies emerged from the clouds, using their luring song to entice members of the crew into the icy waters as well. Civ only narrowly escaped the ocean's deathly embrace, but the ship's helmsman, Loudmouth the Mute, was not so lucky, falling into the raging sea and drifting off to his final resting place. Though casualties were suffered, the team weathered the Harpies' vicious attack and made it within rowing distance of Bingle. And row they did. Setting off from the ship in a dinghy, Uggo single-handedly heaved the team through the water as the rest of them attempted to speak to seagulls and troll for fish. Yeah. The fish they caught was an odd one indeed, a fearsome hybrid with razor-sharp teeth and a crustacean's legs that they eventually turned into an enjoyable meal. But that joy was fleeting. Though a hastily scrawled sign warned them to turn back, the team arrived on the shores of Bingle to find the jovial resort boarded up and empty. Not a soul was in sight until Lily sang her Bingle greeting song, which caught the attention of 2 of her sisters, Carrot and Goldie. They took the group back to the residence of Grammy Will-O-Wisp Dumblestuck, the matriarch of Bingle Island, where a small group of survivors were holed up, hiding out in the basement. Lily reconnected with her father and shared a song with her grandmother, who, even having suffered grievous wounds and the loss of her leg to the attacks, seemed optimistic about the future of her beloved home. When our team learned that the island's custodian, Old Pal, had managed to capture one of the attacking creatures, they ventured out to see it and used an ingenious three-way method to communicate with it, discovering valuable new details about the attacks. They formulated a plan, repurposing the island's recreational resources into weapons and defenses. Bottles and alcohol for refreshments were turned into explosive projectiles. Fuel and tiki torches were arrayed into an ignitable wall of fire. A cart and a buggy were used as a battering ram and an ammunition cache. Even the crank-operated t-shirt cannon that Lily had spoken of so fondly was converted to violent purpose. The sun set, and Lily, her grandmother's replacement flute in her hand, stepped forward to play a song of heroism alongside her family. The battle for Bingle began. The invading army rose up out of the ocean. Molotov cocktails soared, buggies bashed, and magic erupted across the battlefield, even as more and more monsters joined the fight, commanded by an evil, mind-controlling Kapru. But the tide turned when an arrow, loosed from Siv's bow, magically found its mark, directly in the Kapru's sphincter-like mouth, doing an awesome amount of damage to the vile creature and to Siv himself. The team poured on the damage, and in the end, Fahima's sizzling ball of flame ended the Kapru's life, allowing Uggo to behead it and bathe in its foul green blood. Using the amulet's magic, the pronouncement that Bingle is safe again was broadcast across the entire world, and dance, drink, and song filled a long night of cheer. The island was saved, and the heroes of Bingle were crowned.